Reality Radio Entertainment presents Behind the Curtain with your host, Kathy Barrett.
Welcome to Behind the Curtain. I'm your host, Kathy Barrett. Today, you're going to meet Amanda McGinley, the owner and head baker of Iced by Amanda, a home-based custom cake studio out of South Brooklyn. Women are the driving force in the USA's economy. Over 39% of all enterprises, female-owned enterprises, are employing 13 million workers. Women-owned businesses contribute $3.3 trillion in annual revenue. You ladies out there are kind of reshaping the business landscape. And what I found so exciting is that women-owned businesses started to excel during and after the pandemic. Now, Amanda has been cooking for over 20 years, but it was only 2 years ago that she decided to take her passion for baking and turn it into a company. Amanda is a wife and a mother of 2 small children, and raising kids and starting a new business in today's world, I salute you, madam, because it is one tough challenge. So, Amanda, let's go back to before all this started. Did you go to college? What were you aspiring to be in terms of career?
I did go to college. I went to St. Joseph's College in Brooklyn on a full scholarship. I did look at culinary school. I looked at a few in Manhattan, but when I got the full scholarship to St. Joseph's, I couldn't walk away from that. So many people are in so much student debt, and I wasn't going to do that. So I opted to go to a regular college. I have a bachelor's in business management.
Okay, great. And then, so what career course with your degree did you take?
With my degree out of college, I went into a mortgage company. I worked recording mortgages. After that, I also was a boat captain, which does not go with any of my education. I did that for a few years, and my last job before children, I ended up working at JP Morgan for a few years. And I had my daughter, and the option was go back to work full time or help raise my daughter. So I stayed home. I left JP Morgan and I stayed home because just in the economy, it made more sense. I was going to work 50 hours a week and pay for childcare, or stay home and not pay for childcare and have the opportunity to raise my daughter. So that's the route I went.
I mean, that's the challenge that most women who are raising families, have to deal with. And it's unfortunate that there isn't more flexibility out there in the workforce for, women that are having children. So I wanted to ask you, so at that point, once you have your child, now you have to kind of shift the way you're looking at it, right? Did you say, I'm not going to be able to really go back to this career? When did you start thinking about starting your own business? Did it take a while? Were you just into motherhood? How did that
Well,
transpire?
I have been baking cakes for years, but mostly for family and friends, some small orders, nothing really serious. But after I had my son, I needed to do something for myself. And there was a baker in New Orleans that I follow and I really like. And she was coming to New York and doing a cake class, a basic one for 2-tier cakes, but I really like her. And she's a really motivating woman. So I took her class. That was September 2 years ago. And all I wanted to do was take her class to have something for me, because
Yeah.
motherhood can really steal your identity.
Mm.
And I took her class and I posted the cake online and I started getting orders. I had no intention of
Wow.
really kickstarting the business because 2 years ago, my kids were 5 and 2.
Wow.
So, I had no intention
Yeah.
of doing that. So it was really an accident. to be honest. Yeah,
That is remarkable. But I love that you said I need something for myself and I
yeah,
just want to take, that course from the woman that inspired you or motivated you to learn more about baking. So I love that you at least gave that to yourself because I find that mothers are some of the most unselfish people that I've ever met. They put themselves last, for everything.
yes,
So kudos
yes.
to you that you said,
Thank
what,
you.
I need this because it only makes raising the children. I mean, for the it's to the benefit of the children because if you're happy, you know, like they say, happy, happy wife, happy life.
Yes,
So it's the same, right? It goes for the kids too. If mom's feeling fulfilled and creatively being able to express herself, then, motherhood then takes on a different kind of depth, I think.
absolutely. Yes,
Awesome, awesome.
yes.
So, where did you first learn how to bake? Because it's always been with you.
Yes. I mean, we would bake cakes, for birthdays and stuff as a child. Basic birthday cake. I had a cousin who was into cake decorating.
Oh,
So she's the one who really inspired me. I got my first set of piping tips in seventh grade.
wow.
Those are the tips you use to make the different icing designs
Yeah,
on cakes. And I still have them today. I've added a lot more, but
I'm sure.
yeah, it started from a young age.
That's really exciting. And so it started by accident and you started to get orders. So it was word of mouth, right?
Word of mouth. I had a Facebook page, an Instagram page, but the Instagram really kickstarted it.
We're going to show a little later on in the program. You make these very adorable and very effective videos. uh,
Thank you.
of you decorating the cake or whatever, showing your finished uh, works of art, I like to call them. And then you have the reviews right there and then. And it's really, I mean, so let's talk about the process. I call you up and I say, okay, it's my husband's birthday coming up. What are the steps from there? How do you get to create all these fantastic? Do they come to you and say, I want this kind of cake, or what's your process?
It really depends on the client. Some clients will have an exact cake in their mind and pictures and everything exactly how they want. Or other clients will come with a theme, like I want to do a football cake, and they'll say, can you help me? Can you give me some ideas? And we'll spitball back and forth until we come up with something that works for them. So that's really the first step in the process.
And do you sketch it out while you're in this
I
development phase?
would if they asked for it, but normally
Yeah.
I don't. Nobody usually asks for cakes. I've had one person ask, and I was able to send them a computer generated image.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty close to how the cake came out.
Wow. So
Yeah,
do you have creatively, can you draw or you know how to
I
do that?
cannot draw. No,
I was going to
I
say,
cannot.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, that would close my business in about 2 seconds if
Yeah, no,
everything
I'm
would
not
look like
artistic
this.
in any other way.
Well, I bet you are. I bet you just don't know it yet, because once
Mhm.
you're creative, I find in one area, and you start exploring other areas, I find that you probably, we're all like very creative human beings.
Yes.
If you pick up a camera and you take a picture, or you need to get away from cake baking, right?
Mm,
You'll find, maybe you need to explore another creative avenue, which will bring you back to cake making and take it to a different level.
mhm.
When I write, I mean, that's my main, creative endeavor. And when I write, sometimes I have to go and step out of it and take photographs or write music, lyrics to music and so on and so forth. And I go back and forth and it's just, I don't know how to do any of it, but it just pushes that process forward, I find. So I'm sure that
Yes.
highly creative in more than one area, my dear. So, so your cousin inspired you. All of a sudden, you start saying, "Oh, can you make this cake for me?" Did you then say, studying business in college as you did you say, "I better put a business plan together for myself," or did you just keep making the cakes until had so much demand that you just slipped into the next aspect of having or creating that business?
Well, when I took the class, I spoke about with the woman, Julie. She also gave out her pricing guide on how she priced
Ah.
cakes, and a little information with that. That was helpful. And I used that as a guideline. And my business plan right now is kind of winging it. That's my plan.
Because you're doing this all out of your home, right?
Yes. Yes, I
That's pretty
am.
amazing. So what do you find the most challenging part of your day? Your kids are still small and now you have this business. So
It's the most challenging part is space
mm,
because I'm doing this in my home's kitchen, which is still a kitchen for my family, where I cook meals for them. And our counter space is limited, our table space is limited. So space. And I try and do it when the children aren't home or when they're sleeping, because if I'm doing anything while they're home, they want to help me, which is sweet, but not necessarily effective.
time
Or
effective.
if I'm baking cupcakes, they want cupcakes for breakfast. So, I give them cupcakes for breakfast.
Lucky kid.
It's not every day. So,
Right.
it's
Right.
not worth the fight. But yeah, having the kids home while I'm baking is a challenge. And the limited amount of space I have is definitely a big challenge.
Now, so you're really, though, it's really starting to take on a new level, right, of success. So
Yes.
do you see yourself ever going to an now, trying to find a retail shop, or what's your 5-year plan, or have you even thought of that yet?
My 5-year plan would be to build a shop in the basement. I'm not looking to rent anything in New York. The overhead
Right.
is
Yeah.
astronomical. And just the way the economy is right now, I wouldn't be able to do it with selling just cakes. But
Mm,
our basement is unfinished. I would love to take half of that and just turn that into a cake studio.
that's excellent.
Yes.
And that makes a lot of sense. And then you have your private area and all the counter space you need. So how many cakes are you making on a weekly basis, or does that vary depending upon season or?
It really varies. Sometimes I could have 5 cakes a week. Sometimes I could have no cakes. So it really varies.
That's the 5 cakes. That's a lot with cooking. Do you cook every night?
Not every night. No.
Okay.
We order once in a while.
You're very good at reservations or
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yes.
that's a good skill to have. So what have you learned about now running a company that surprised you the most?
That's a good question. Something that surprised me the most, I would say putting myself out there. Because even when I put myself out there and I'm unsure and I'm like, I don't think people are going to like this,
Hmm.
the response is usually the opposite. Like
Yeah.
I've put out some things, social media is a great way for advertising. And they say just do it. Eventually your ideal customers will find you. And some things I've posted, I'm like, nobody's going to like this. And I've gotten the complete opposite response, like an outpouring of
Wow.
support and acceptance and compliments. And I'm like, I was not expecting that for this. So it's funny how that works.
Well, it is wonderful when you have a fear about something, especially putting oneself out there, because you're being very vulnerable, right? You're kind of
Hmm.
exposing yourself on many different levels. But when you do that, it does usually get that kind of response back. Well, many
Hmm.
times we prevent ourselves from stepping into that fear. So the fact that we do, it's just like double reward, really.
Yeah.
People are responding, and then you're like, wow, I can do this. And it
Hmm.
helps you get to the next level. But I found your videos to be lovely and very funny because you have a very
Thank
dry
you.
sense of humor. So it's very easy to get, you know what I'm saying? And the name of your company is is even clever and funny because iced by Amanda can mean a number of different things, right?
It could, yeah.
Yeah, and especially, some of the videos that you do that are kind of, you're portraying some of the challenges of motherhood. You could see it in your face or whatever's going on in your life, and they're really lovely to watch. And I can see why your
Thank you.
business is taking off. And so okay, well, I find that interesting. Do you think now when you're going down into the basement or wanting that? Do you see yourself like there's a lot of organizations out there now that will support women in businesses? So the Small Business Association, I know the government's closed down right now. You're not going to get anything out
Yeah.
of them. But, in terms of putting together a business plan and, trying to take it to the next level, do you see yourself becoming more business minded and detail oriented in that respect, where you'll have to step away from the creativity to get that balance happening so that you can move your business to the next level?
I don't think I would need to step away from the creativity to do that.
Great.
It it would be pretty direct to do. I know there's avenues, there's grants, I can get a business loan. It's just a matter of timing because we have
Yeah.
a lot of other family businesses that I work with. So I'm juggling several
So,
tasks at
okay, let's talk
any
about that.
time.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about, so what else are you doing besides this, and what kind of vitamins do you take?
Multivitamins at the
Okay.
least. I have 10 grapefruits sitting over there that I haven't eaten. Me and my husband have an electrical contracting company that I do the administrative side for that. So that's year round. My family also has a tax business that I work with. So that's in the spring. So it'll be tax time. And then right after tax time is my busy season for cakes. May and June are the busiest months of the year. So
Wow,
I'm rolling from tax time to cake season.
you're
So
amazing.
I'm juggling a lot.
I, you're wearing a lot of different hats. You
I
really,
do.
really
Jack
are.
of all trades, master of none.
Well, I wouldn't say you're master of none. I would not say that. Come on, you're making beautiful cakes, and we're going to show.
We're getting there. We're
No,
getting
you're
there.
there. You're there. You really are because they're magnificent. How do you even do that? How do you even do that? Okay, I say I want to make a baby grand piano.
Oh boy. Well, that would be a very in-depth cake. You start with the cakes, bake them, let them cool. Then you would have to fill the cake and then you would have to carve the cake back in the fridge, take it out, ice it back in the fridge,
Wow.
do that a few times, then decorate it. It's a very time consuming process and not directly time consuming, but there's a lot of waiting time, like
Mm,
wait cooking and then waiting for it to cool. Then you have to wrap the cakes. Then they have to go in the fridge. Then they have to come out. Then you have to fill them and ice them. And then they go back in the fridge and you have to wait. And then they come out. And then you
mm,
have to ice it again.
wow.
And then they go back in the fridge and you have to wait. And then you take it out again to decorate. So it's not like you can do it streamlined, like I'm going to do 3 hours from start to finish.
Right.
It's a lot of steps that have a lot of breaks in between.
Hmm.
So, it's a lengthy process. People
Wow.
will call. I had someone, normally we ask for 2 weeks notice because if you're
Uh-huh.
asking for custom pieces on cakes, things
Sure.
need to be ordered and can't
Mm,
necessarily get here in time. And then I'm limited as to what I'm able to do.
mhm.
I'll have people call me 2 days before. And if I can fit them in, I'll do it. But then, like I said, I'm limited as to what I could do
What you can do.
creatively.
Now,
Yes.
do you make different kinds of cakes? I mean, I want a chocolate one, I want a vanilla one, I want a, what are they called?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Lots
So
of different flavors.
wow, wow. That's whew, it's a big job. And then I saw a very adorable video of your daughter icing one of the cakes, so are the kids going to be incorporated? You'll have them to work.
My
Uh,
daughter has big dreams for the company. She does.
I
Yeah, she
love it.
helped ice a two-tier cake. It was actually a gift for a family member's baby shower, so
Yeah,
I felt comfortable letting her help.
fantastic.
Not that it was less important, but it was for a family member. So, it was special that she was able to help for that. And she helps label things and put stickers on. I'll let her put some finishing touches on too. And she tells me I should be on TV. She's been watching the show, Is It Cake? And she's like, you should go on that show. I'm like, we'll see. One thing at a time.
I agree with her. I think she's very
Yeah.
wise. I mean, you're a beautiful, talented young woman, and I think
Thank you.
you're made for TV. You should definitely consider doing that. And you just did your first morning show.
I did, yes, last week for
How was that
Halloween.
experience for you?
It was definitely an experience. It was fun. The hosts were very nice and kind and inviting, so that made it even more easy.
Hmm.
It was nerve-wracking, TV, that's a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was fun. It was a good day. I was able to showcase some of my work. We decorated cupcakes together, and it was a nice experience. I'm glad I did it.
The banana does something amazing.
Good, right? It's the first time I made that banana.
Wow.
I was like, what am I gonna do?
Oh,
it's
And
a
I'm like,
winner.
I'm gonna do that.
That's a winner.
That
Whoa.
tastes so good. The thing is, too, is it's sometimes when you have decorative cakes that I've had
Wow.
before, the icing and stuff is overpowering,
Yeah.
and there's not enough cake on the inside, and then you just feel like you're eating too much of the sugar, really.
Yeah.
This is like a perfect ratio, and I think
Thank
it's
you.
because of that banana right in there.
The banana and the vanilla bean.
Yeah.
Bring it together.
They bring it together so much. Bravo!
That is
Thank you.
incredible.
So
Amazing.
incredible.
Thank
Amazing.
you very much.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, because that's a
Thank
big
you so
deal.
much.
Very
Thank
big
you.
deal. So, what advice would you have for other women out there that may be just at the thinking process? Like, I'm raising my kids, I can't go back to corporate America. I think I could do this kind of business or that kind of business. What would you share with them now that maybe you learned from going through the process that you wished you would have had when you started to begin with?
I would say just do it because running your own business, while it is tough and it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 24/7. It really gives you flexibility with the children. Like I'm doing this with you right now, and then I'll be able to go pick them up from school. Like I can make my own hours. I can work when I want. I can work as much as I want or as little as I want. And just having that flexibility as a mother is really important.
That's really
Because,
great.
like you said, you can't do that in corporate America.
You can't. And
No.
it's just amazing to me that after all these years, that they don't make it easier for women. And I think what's going to happen is they're just going to start their own companies. Like 40% of the business landscape is now women owned. And that's, it's really a loss if you think about it, right?
Yeah, you have
Because,
a lot of great stories about women. I was actually just reading online earlier about the owner of Spanx.
yes.
I don't know if you know her story. She was selling fax machines door to door, and then she was going out one day and cut the toes off her stockings because she didn't like how it looked in her sandals. And then the idea came to her
Uh,
to make this a product, with the control top and the coverage on the legs. And she pitched it and pitched it, and finally someone picked it up. And then when she sold the company, I think she sold it for 10 million.
mm,
She gave every employee maybe $7,000 or $10,000 and 2 first-class tickets. Like
oh,
that's amazing and
that's great.
selfless.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really something nice to see.
Yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
you're right, there are a lot of stories out there really inspiring how women come to it. And many times, and what I found really invigorating was that, during the pandemic, we none of us knew what was going to happen, right? I mean,
No.
that went on for years, and there was so much financial strain going on for people. So the fact that, the human spirit is so great because you can never count it out. You know what I mean? It's like
Hmm.
I can see where women just said, you know what? I'm not going back to corporate America. I'm going to be home with my, because, you started to value life a little differently,
Yes.
right? And material things weren't that important. Family was important. You couldn't see your extended family during those times. So I think it just really, something that was so much adversity that we had to get through ended up being a wonderful thing because women went out on their own. Is there anything, just let me make sure that, is there anything that you want to share with me, with the listeners that we haven't covered already that you would like to express?
I would like to express gratitude for everyone who supports me, because it takes a lot. I have a lot of friends that share my cakes on social media. I have people who comment, people who give me support, whether it's helping me deliver a cake, whether it's clients. It's you really find out who your friends are when you start a
Wow.
business, and I've had clients who are more supportive of me than family are. So
Wow.
it's very interesting to see
Wow.
that dynamic, and I'm
Yeah.
very appreciative for that.
That's a lovely, lovely thing to share, really. And before we go, I want to ask you that. How do you get these elaborate cakes? How do you deliver them? Because that's an art in itself.
It is nerve-wracking,
Oh,
but this summer I actually got something called the cake safe. It's essentially a safe for your cake, and it fits right in the trunk of my Jeep. And it keeps it insulated, it keeps it safe and sturdy because there's not really a great place in the car for cakes. You can put a smaller cake on the front floor on the
right.
passenger side,
Hmm.
but that can only fit something so big.
Yeah.
And New York City is full of bumps and
Oh
potholes
my
and
God.
speed bumps.
Yeah.
So you're driving 5 miles an hour with a cake in the car is quite nerve wracking. So I'm very grateful for my cake safe too.
And you deliver the
It's
cake
a deal
yourself.
changer. Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
One time I put a cake in an Uber because it was out of my delivery area. And I told the customer, I'm like, once I put it in the Uber, I can't be responsible
Right.
for anything that happens. And they were willing to take that risk. And I never heard back from them.
That's,
So I don't know how that Uber ride went.
the driver probably had a nice slice before he delivered it.
Maybe.
You
I hope
know?
not.
Yeah, I hope not too, but that's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
that for them to even think that it would get there in one piece would be a miracle, right?
That was someone who called last minute too. So I think they were out of options.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Well, we wish them well. Hopefully
I,
they
I
know
hope
what.
it got there in one piece. I sent them a picture of how it left my house. So
Oh, that's good.
it
That's
left
good.
in one piece.
You are so extraordinary. You really are. I hope you
Thank
get
you so
that.
much. Thank you.
I'm expressing gratitude for you. I'm very proud of you and what you've accomplished and how many different things you're juggling and being a mom and a wife on top of that. That's a lot. And they're right there. It's showing that you're multi-talented. Plus you have a head for business. So not everybody can do the creative and, do the practical side of things. And now you have a daughter who's a visionary who sees your television future. So I think
Yes.
you have to step into it,
She
and
was very excited to hear that she was mentioned on television. So she'll
oh,
be very excited to hear this as well.
oh,
She
that's
said, "Thanks for the shout out."
she's adorable. Well,
Thank
tell
you.
people how you have a website, you're on Facebook, Instagram. Just share those social media, titles.
Platforms, sure.
Platforms.
My
Thank you.
website is www.icedbyamanda.com. I'm also on Yelp as Iced by Amanda, and I am on Instagram as Iced by Amanda. So those are the 3 places you can find me.
Fantastic. And we will put this up on our website as well. I just want to thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your experience and your story with me, which I treasure. And it's been a joy to have you with us today, and I wish you the best of luck and love to the family.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it.